Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC now recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.
I always get in such a good mood when I'm here.
I do too. You know, I love that intro music. It really kind of gets me amped up and ready to go.
And I have coffee.
Well, coffee always gets me amped up and ready to go. But our music, once again, we have to thank Sacco.
You're just saying that because he cried about the interview when we didn't mention him. Did you or did you not?
He did not cry.
But hang on a second.
Hold on.
Just no, you don't get to talk. Mute him.
No, he's the sound guy.
I do want to point out we don't have a camera in here, so our viewers,
our listeners,
our listeners can't see. Sacco has the awesomest shirt on right now.
He does. He has the Spy versus Spy.
Really? Thanks for showboating.
What?
I wanted to talk about the Spy versus Spy shirt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's ruined.
No, you want to start over? You want to talk about Sacco again?
It's kind of like when you tell the punchline of the joke, you know, where you're just like knock knock and you're like poopy, and it's like okay.
Who's there? Doesn't matter. No, but anyhow, the intro was done by Sacco.
Great shirt, Sacco.
It was a great shirt. It was a great song. How are you? Now it's February. Where the hell is this year going already?
Where's it going?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, do you realize we're only like less than 11 months away from Christmas?
Did you start shopping yet?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know who I'm getting a present for?
Who? Sacco?
Pierce Morgan.
Well, he might need that. Do you know that he...
Are we declaring ideological war on Pierce Morgan?
We've already done that 2 shows ago.
I want to do it again.
Way behind that.
Fun.
All right, well, let's redeclare.
Yeah.
Or let's reread our declaration. Go.
We declare ideological war on Pierce Morgan.
That would be it?
Yeah.
So
I pulled it right up.
He's probably going to need a gift by Christmas, and here's why. His poll numbers came up this week was worse than RuPaul's, and I have the story here somewhere. I'm not even going to bother. RuPaul's on some, cable network. It's a small network.
Well,
I don't know.
Pierce Morgan.
Exactly. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what show RuPaul does. All I know is somebody sent me a link and said, hey, you got to check this out. I read it, and I nearly came apart.
Hey, you know what? I wonder, do you think that Pierce Morgan and RuPaul are one and the same?
That's impossible. Why would you want to take yourself out?
I don't think he's taking himself out. I think that you really almost have to add those 2 poll numbers together to get his true rating. Yeah, I mean, he may be like a master genius. Look, can't you picture him like lipstick and pumps?
Actually, no, I don't want to.
No, but you did because you just closed your eyes and started laughing. Yeah. For those that can't see.
I just want to know, he's on CNN.
Who is RuPaul? If they are one and the same.
If they are one and the same, then yes. If they are not one and the same, then no. And how do you're on a major 24-hour news network. You took over from Larry King. You are.
Okay.
He took over for Larry King, who had good numbers when he left.
Way to trade up.
Yeah, seriously. And then he's had the show, 6 months? And he's already got lower ratings than RuPaul. So, he must be nailing it.
What, RuPaul? I don't know. I'm asking.
Phone number for tonight's show, 347-205-9399 if you want to join
How's
this
that for a
conversation.
visual?
Shotgun's on the phones, the board, and, well, just about everything.
And the drums.
And the drums. He's on the drums tonight.
Percussion.
There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where I want to start.
Let's start with the fact that armed guards in schools don't work, except for in Atlanta.
Sorry, you have to stop making me laugh with good lines like that.
I apologize.
Except for in Atlanta, that's the only place.
That's the only place that it might work. So there was. Don't mean to make light of it, but
no.
There was another school shooting in Atlanta, Georgia, Thursday, January 31st. See, I'm already trying to put us into November here.
Dude, seriously, you were just aching for Christmas, but go on.
I am. Where a 14-year-old student opened fire at his classroom or at his school. One student was wounded in the neck, but there was an armed off-duty officer who was working at the school and was able to actually stop the shooter. So he was a peace officer. He actually, who was off duty, as you said. Yep. And he was able to intervene in a situation perpetrated by an awful person. Evil. We can say evil on this show. Terrible, disgusting, should be buried under a prison. Was actually stopped before he could do more damage. Correct. Weird. What? It's almost like the experts are arguing that this is a possibility. Well, hang on a second. One of those experts actually sent a tweet out, and that expert's name is Pierce Morgan. What? Yeah. Sent a tweet out saying that, let me see the tweet, quote, revealed armed guard was not able to stop Atlanta school shooting. And the reason that knucklehead sent that out is because I think his thesis is because the gunman got like one round off and one person was injured, that the gunman was not stopped. So we have to have an armed guard next to every person in his theory for it to work. No. You literally have to like... No, that's not his theory. I think his theory is you don't have the armed guard there. Because, and then the shooting wouldn't happen. Right. Because there would be no guns anymore. Right, because they would just disappear. Because they would miracle themselves away. You know, there's a reason we kicked their ass in exactly. There's 17, a reason, and he's the reason. 75, 6, 7, 8. You know, and there's 81. A bunch of people, you know, on Twitter that were calling at one point to deport him. There was a whole. That would be so awesome. We should. But remember Yorktown. But Britain doesn't want it back. That's at the end of the day. They don't want him back, or they don't want Yorktown back. They don't want him back. No, would you? No. Okay, we don't want him either. And listen, he's entitled to his ridiculous, stupid opinion. Of course he is. In his own private life. Of course. But as I said before, I'm stuck on whether or not he's smart enough to have these opinions on his own, or if he is just regurgitating. Yes. Okay. There's no reason for me to end that statement. Good job. Yeah. No, if you look at him, he looks like he's in a perpetual state of regurgitation. Don't you think? Well, trust me, hang on, look, here's a picture. 20s. Just take a look. Here. Oh, well, now I might be in a constant state of regurgitation. See? Yeah. Good call. Thank you. How does he have a friggin' show? Well, he's on his way, obviously. And how is it more popular than ours? He's an idiot. And it's not because he's British. He's just an idiot. Yeah, well, not all British people are idiots. Not at all. I knew a guy once that wasn't. Really? Yeah. What's his name? Sean McLaughlin. Lives in Stoke-on-Trent in England. Yeah, McLaughlin. There you go. That's why. No. There's a reason he was sent over there. Britain had a plan. They were like, you know what? We're going to get rid of this a-hole. Do you think that he was sent over here as some form of like punishment? Yeah. Like maybe it was some kind of sentence or whatever. Yeah. It took them, 250 years or something? Yeah, but they figured it out. They're like, you know what? How are we going to get... we got to do something. Larry King's retiring. I get it. Send him Morgan. They'll all commit suicide by the end of the year. Send him Morgan. And then, of course, he was like, crikey, I'll head right. Oh, that's Australian. Yeah. Whatever. When did we get Pierce Morgan? Because can we tie this to, like, when Obama sent the bust of Winston Churchill back? Was there like a trade? Okay, we'll give you the bust of Churchill, you give us Piers Morgan. Or was Britain so offended that they said, fine, you guys take this asshole? I don't know. I'm throwing it out there. I'm spitballing.
I would gladly rather turn on his show every single night and just see the bust of Churchill right there with nothing going on for an hour.
Right. Well, Churchill was kind of a stud.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
So we need to look into that.
We got to figure that out.
When
if anyone has any idea, email us, fanmail@sackheadsradio.com, and give us some insight, because we think there was a trade in place. The bust of Winston Churchill for Piers Morgan.
Well, now,
sadly, the bust of Winston Churchill has a higher IQ, and I have the scientific stats here by 10 times.
And more personality.
Well, yeah, doy.
Yeah. Did you just say doy?
Yeah, I'm bringing it back.
Nice use. I like it.
I'm bringing it back. A friend of mine said it a few times, and I said, you know what, that's going to get popular. Let me bring that back.
And did he consent?
No. So
real good.
Sued, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We don't have anything.
You know what? This is the country of tort and lawsuits. Let's bring it on, baby.
Lawsuits?
Yeah. You've never seen a lawsuit? They were huge in the 70s. They were almost like the leisure suits, but instead you wore a bolo tie.
Oh,
that was the only difference. They were
weird.
Called
That's
lawsuits.
kind of crazy.
This show is off to a terrible start. I can tell you that. We're spiraling already. We're 10 minutes into the show, and we are just left wing down, spiraling in.
I love it.
Hey,
what?
Do you remember Senator Menendez? He's out of New Jersey. He's a Democrat. He's
the one that likes hookers?
Well, he was the guy who the FBI was looking into because
the underage Dominican.
Before we get there.
Oh, okay. Before we go to Dominican?
Before the election, and it was going to be a close election.
Okay.
The FBI was going to raid his
mom's house.
Arrest one of his campaign workers, who was a convicted sex offender, felon, and a legal alien. And they
so he can vote.
Right. So there was pressure, and they held off till after the election because they didn't want to make him look bad going into the election because, well, he's a senator and he's a Democrat, and they need to hold as many seats as they can. So I don't know if that's officially what happened, but it's just kind of weird.
Who held off?
I believe the FBI did.
Wow, it's a good thing you didn't have any real cops on their case.
Yeah, no kidding. So that kind of went away. Nobody really talked about that too much.
Right.
And it kind of ducked down, which is weird to me because if there's a convicted sex offender who's a legal alien, and I think he was wanted.
Whoa. First of all, criminal
alien. Sorry, criminal alien.
There you go.
I believe he was wanted for not registering at the time as a sex offender. Either way, he was a wanted man.
But he registered to vote, probably.
Oh, probably. And he probably voted 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be arrested, and somebody got to the FBI and said, "Whoa, we need you to hold off. Don't do this until after the election."
And then the FBI arrested that person for obstruction and went and did their job anyways, right?
Negative. So,
I didn't see that coming.
So it was pushed off, and then about a month ago, it made a couple quick blurbs on the news. Even Fox didn't carry it that much, or a couple of the conservatives, which I was shocked because considering the timing going into the election, which there was a couple of these types of things going into the election, that certain things got quiet. It was weird, like Benghazi. Either way. So it goes away. So now we find out that Senator Bob Menendez apparently likes to have sex with underage hookers in the Dominican Republic. 4 of them.
At the same time?
I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah.
They, I don't know if they were all underage. I know a couple of them.
Which is weird because he had a sex offender working for him, and now he likes underage.
Isn't that weird?
Huh. It's almost like there's a... What is his first name? What's his first name? Chester?
No, I don't.
What is it?
Bob.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely not Chester. Maybe that's his middle name. Either way,
okay.
And the GatewayPundit.com wrote a great article about it, and that's where I'm getting some of my information from. But there's a great FBI email attached on the 4 prostitutes.
It's attached, like, to them?
No, it's attached to the
it says attached
email.
on
Sorry.
them, so it's okay. It's okay. I didn't know if I stapled it on their
Listen,
forehead or what.
Yeah, it's just walking around.
Yeah, I didn't know. Here's your visa and papers.
So, it boggles my mind. Again, this isn't. I didn't see this on CNN. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I missed it, but I didn't see it there.
What? But do you watch CNN?
I always check. That's part of my job on this show. I check to always see what the other side is saying and how they spin things.
Oh, okay. I watch MSNBC
Right, that's your job on the show.
That's my job on
I
the
get
show.
stuck with Pierce freaking Morgan.
I get stuck with all of MSNBC, seriously.
You know who you get?
Yeah.
You get our other best friend.
I do.
You get him.
Chris. Hi, Chris.
Uncle Chris Matthews.
Hi, Chris.
We have a war on two fronts going on right now.
We do. This is... Yeah, now, are they the allies or are we the allies? We don't really have any allies. That's not true. We do have allies.
We do have allies.
We have Conservative Outcry.
ConservativeOutcry.net. I believe Andrea Kay is involved with us as well.
The 405. Is the 405?
I'll have to ask John and Tammy over there and see if they're going to be on board with our ideological war.
Yeah. Right now, I think they're supporters, but they're almost like the Dutch in the Revolution. They were supporting from a distance at the time.
And then, which one of us gets Soledad O'Brien, that absolute genius?
Sacco.
Somebody in the chat room said, bye-bye, Soledad, but I can't remember what network she was on because she wasn't that popular until she said something stupid.
Yeah, I don't even know who she is. That's how popular she is. Oh, so, we do have another ally in this ideological war, Bob, in the chat room.
Yeah, USMC Bob, who's a regular in that chat room. And I'm being told she was on CNN, so thank you to Mother Goose, who is in the chat room tonight.
That's
so if you want more information about what's going on with Senator Bob Menendez, I would suggest Googling his office and calling and asking him. And just seeing what's going on.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
my suggestion.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's funny, too, that remember when this happened?
What about like a public records request for his
public record.
Yeah, like his email or maybe his internet activity from his office.
Freedom of Information
Act. If he likes little kids, I wonder what would show up there.
I don't know if he likes little kids or little hookers.
Either way.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
Well, we need to clarify that. So if anyone out in the Sackhead Army wants to go out there and start asking Bob Menendez hard-hitting questions, because I don't have time to talk to pedophiles.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, alleged.
No, alleged.
I said alleged.
Alleged.
I didn't mean alleged.
Yeah, we don't know. This is just...
Hey, remember when a whole bunch of Secret Service agents lost their job? Oh, forget it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, never mind. It
was in Colombia, not the Dominican Republic. So
it's totally different
the same
because
laws don't
they're Secret Service.
It's not like he's an elected member of the Senate who took an oath or anything like that.
So it wouldn't be up to... It'd be up to us to fire him then, right? Not the...
Weird.
Huh. But it's alleged. Has the hooker thing been proven? Because the hookers confirmed they attended sex parties. But granted, this is just...
Well, you're taking the word of a hooker, which was good enough to fire Secret Service agents.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. But again, we don't know that this happened or not. That's just kind of what's the word is.
You got good distance on that, Aaron.
Thank you. You like that?
Yeah.
I think I believe it. But again, we don't know. He hasn't been convicted of anything.
Listen,
the FBI is conducting the FBI. Well,
hey, you know who else hangs out in the Dominican Republic?
Who?
Remember Charles Rangel? That's where his house is down there. That he had all the tax evasion. That he wanted to pay all the taxes.
Interesting.
Maybe we need to get boots on the ground in the DR from the Sackheads and start investigating all these Democrats that hang out there on a regular basis. I'm just saying that's possibly a good idea. Sarko.
Sackhead, I gotta give a call out to Sackhead Michaela.
Okay.
She's in contact with us right now, and she just has an outstanding idea for an article. So she's going to be doing some research and writing it within the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll have it. So I know she's out there. Thank you, Sackhead Michaela, for the work you put in on your articles.
Looking forward to another great article.
Absolutely.
You want to go to the Dominican Republic?
Oh, I heard there's hookers there.
So you don't want to go?
I do want to go.
Okay. We're gonna send Sackhead Sarko to the DR and try to investigate these Democratic senators and just what the hell they're all about. Before you do that, can you make sure the website's up? The new website?
You know, the one you've been working on? You're looking at us about lost.
No. I'm not saying you're not coming back. We're
just not saying you are.
Listen, if you end up headless in Haiti, there's nothing we can do about that.
That would be a great movie. It's
Headless
like Sleepless in Seattle.
It's only right across the river. So, do you want to go?
Sure, I'll go.
Get your passport. Just put it on the Sackhead credit card. So, I want to know, and this always happens, it happens more frequently now, how many things that were going on in the Democrats that were running for re-election get squashed when this guy's in office. It just seems to happen a whole bunch of weird.
What do you mean, this guy?
This president.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know why you were bringing race into this.
How did I bring race in?
This guy?
No.
Seriously?
Obi-Wan.
Really?
Obi-Wan the First.
Mace Windu?
No, remember? Obi-Wan. Obama the First.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay, just making sure. Unfortunately. So I just looked over to the chat room, and somebody commented on the Headless in Haiti, and it just made me laugh again. Sorry.
That'd be a great movie.
It would be an outstanding movie. We would have to come up with a good plot twist. Because it can't be about some guy walking around with no head in Haiti. Like, that would kind of have to be at the end. Or maybe at the beginning they find the body.
Right.
And they trace back his steps. And they find out it was some guy that was sent to the Dominican Republic.
By some little known
sackhead. And he was assassinated. I'm just saying.
It could happen.
If there are any writers out there, feel free to call and contact me and me only at Sean at sackheadsradio.com if you'd like to discuss this. Patent pending. Sorry, copyright. Whatever. Don't touch my crap is what I mean to say. Oh, God. So where are we going to go from here? We have Hagel coming up at some point. We have to talk about the Hagel confirmation hearings.
Why not? We already talked about Menendez. Why do I call him Menendez? Remember those two knuckleheads?
The Menendez brothers?
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I don't know.
What's in your Gatorade tonight?
It's coffee. This is really weird.
Dude, coffee-flavored Gatorade.
I think we're onto something.
Hey, Gatorade, you guys need to partner with Dunkin' Donuts and come up with that, because I'd be your number one customer, always and forever.
By the way, I created it, so you contact Clint at Sackheads Radio.
Yeah, you can do that, because he doesn't check his email. I have it auto-forwarded to mine.
Okay, so I had something interesting that I came across.
You always do.
I am a fan of checking Gallup sometimes for interesting polls that could be taken.
Like flag polls?
Something like that. So, what would you think the top 10 liberal states in the United States are?
Top 10 liberal states. Well,
and don't be pulling it up.
No, I am not pulling it up.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I was actually going to
ready
mid-show.
Go.
Top 10 liberal states. Going to go with Massachusetts, California, obviously, New York. Ooh, Sacco chimed in. Vermont, New Hampshire's up there now. Connecticut. Let's see, Illinois. What am I up to here?
That's 7.
Am I doing well so far?
You're at 7.
Okay. Let's see, Delaware.
Okay. And to be that's 8. So to be fair, one may be a district.
Right. I was going to go with D.C. if it was allowed.
That's
9.
One more.
I said New York. Hold on, I'm just going up and down the East Coast here because that's where most of them are outside of California. You know what? I'm going to go with the state of Washington.
Okay. So you actually did very well. You got 7 out of 10.
Hey!
California is not on that list.
Weird. 40 years in state for legislature.
Yes.
And a majority of federal legislators have been Democrat, and a majority of
so I want to read these to you. Gallup did this poll about the most conservative and liberal states in the Union, and the top 10 liberal states are Democratic, District of Columbia.
Yeah.
Massachusetts, number 2.
Which is weird, but go ahead.
Which is weird because you're from there.
Right.
So it actually makes perfect sense. You hippie. Oregon, number...
You know me,
Oregon,
I'm just wearing my Birks.
Actually, you are right now, which is kind of scary. Oregon is number 3. Vermont, Delaware, Connecticut, Washington, Rhode Island, Hawaii.
Rhode Island.
And New York.
You know, Hawaii strikes me weird.
Hawaii. No. It actually makes perfect sense.
Rhode Island I didn't get, and that shocks me because Rhode Island's notoriously
liberal. Now,
really? I was gonna go back to my roots, talk about growing up, going down to Providence.
Listen. Your state was number 2.
I know.
Okay.
Somehow I came out alive. Isn't that crazy?
I think you're a mole.
Me and Krauthammer.
I think you're a mole. What would you think the number 1 top conservative state is?
Top conservative state in the Union, number 1. it's going to be a state that's not going to jump out at most people, and that's why I'm going to think about this a little bit.
What would you say?
Right off the bat, I'd say Texas.
Okay.
Because that's the...
But you know that's not the right answer
But
because otherwise I wouldn't ask it.
Right. I'm going to go with Kansas.
Not even in the top 10.
Whoa!
Texas is not even in the top 10.
I'm not shocked by that. They've been integrated the last few years.
Assimilated.
Sorry, whatever.
Which is weird because they actually want us to see the most, I think, which is awesome. So what would you say?
Well, if Texas...
Okay, think
Kansas.
Forrest Gump. Where did he play football?
Alabama?
Yes, number 1. Nice. See that?
Yeah.
Movie trivia and real life information all rolled into
top
one.
10 conservative ones in the Union.
Alabama, number 1. North Dakota, number 2.
Doesn't shock me.
Wyoming, number 3.
Oh.
M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, P-P-I, number 4. What?
Well?
That'd be Mississippi. Utah.
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Idaho. Louisiana.
Ida Pimp.
Louisiana, which actually surprised me.
It doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
That's one of those states where the high volume of... It's kind of like California with liberals, if you will. A majority of the state is conservative, but the few cities that have the high populations in one area are liberal because that's where all the free crap comes from.
Okay. That surprised me.
But if you look at who they've elected overall, they have a pretty conservative track.
Okay. Nebraska, doesn't surprise me at all, and Arkansas.
Arkansas. You are Kansas, we are Kansas.
And then, of course, they did the top 10 moderate states, if you're interested.
Yeah.
Alaska, Rhode Island, Ohio, Maryland, Massachusetts, again, was one of the more moderate states as far as the split.
Right.
Michigan, Nevada, Connecticut, Montana, and New Jersey. And that's just the highest number of people that claim to be
independent,
moderate.
Oh, moderate.
Now, something interesting I pulled up about California also, because we always
hammer California.
We're based out of California. That's
belly of the beast, baby.
No secret.
Fighting from the inside.
But California, there's actually 34.1%, according to this Gallup poll, lean Republican. 46.7% lean Democrat. That's not surprising, correct?
No.
Okay. However, 35.2% view themselves as Republicans or as conservatives. So that the number of people that view themselves as conservative is actually higher than the number of people that lean or vote Republican in that state. So that's interesting. And 35.6%, so almost the same number, 0.4% higher, consider themselves moderate, whereas only 25% consider themselves liberal in California. It's according to Gallup.
Well, most people don't, outside of California, and I didn't know this either before I moved here, there's a lot of farmland and conservative places that you would expect to be conservative. Farmland.
Yeah, but this is population. This is people.
Yeah.
Not geographic area, which I think was where you were going.
Right, I was.
That.
That's bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Then why do they keep doing it? Why do they keep...
I don't know, and that's my whole point. I don't understand that.
Is it just
because the conservative advantage for California, the conservatives have an advantage in California of 6.3.
They're just not showing up?
I don't know. I think they're buying into the whole, well...
If we don't, it doesn't matter, we're going to lose.
Either it doesn't matter, we're going to lose, or, you know what, we feel good about X, Y, and Z. Maybe they don't pay attention. California is very influenced, with media and so forth, but the conservative advantage is defined as the percentage of conservative minus the percentage of liberal in that state. And so the conservatives actually hold an advantage, according to this Gallup poll, of 6.3%. Which I found very interesting.
Well, does that mean we have to start organizing? Does Sackheads Radio have to start organizing the conservative vote in California?
Can we?
Yeah.
The California Republican Party is
I just
dead.
did.
Nice work. The California Republican Party is dead, and I think that's one of the problems. The California Republican Party went crazy.
Do the Sackheads have to show up with the defibrillator?
No, I think they need to completely redo the party.
All right, so we have to go all Frankenstein on it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Either that or we just start our own party. Maybe we need to have a Sackhead party. I'm talking like lots of booze and like a real party, not like a political.
No, let's just have a big old blowout. Finger sandwiches. Yes, right?
The little corns.
Halfway through, I'm like, I don't even know what we were supposed to be doing tonight. Just keep giving me sidecars, old-fashioned.
But I think that's the problem, and I think that's why Jerry Brown got elected governor there over Meg Whitman, because Meg Whitman was, in some cases, I think, maybe even more liberal than Jerry Brown was. Yeah. So the Republicans, they don't really, there's not a huge difference between a California Republican or a California Democrat.
Well, and I was just going to say, how many people are registered conservative or Republican, rather, in this state because it's such a moderate form of conservatism that any other state they may be registered as...
it doesn't matter because they still consider themselves conservative. You have more people that consider themselves conservative than Republicans.
If somebody who balances it off, hey, you know what, I'm big on social issues, I think, leave social issues alone, but I'm a fiscal conservative, and that's, really important, and I want to keep the Constitution as much as we can kind of important. So I'm going to go Republican, but when it comes to giving stuff away and to helping the needy and all that stuff, then maybe...
Spending a bunch of money.
Right.
And
then, yeah.
Pay taxes.
I don't know what the mindset is.
I don't either, but I thought it was interesting. I wanted to bring it up in the show. We're up against a break. Thanks for listening.
Oh, we really up against a break?
We have... can't talk right now. We want to talk about the confirmation hearings.
Yep.
When we come back.
And we're also going to talk about, I got an interesting study on Occupy Wall Street that I think you will enjoy. We'll be back in a minute. 347-205-9399 is our phone number, Sackheads Radio.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. We often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PolitigalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PolitigalNetwork.com or Twitter at PolitigalUSA.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. You want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis? That is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to homefronthugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women in uniform of the armed forces. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our... God.
You going to mention me this time?
Thank you, Sean. Is that good? You said mention you, right?
Oh.
You totally need to keep that as an outtake.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
Hey, Shoeless Joe. So, what?
You know, you take your shoes off once in the studio and you get a new nickname.
No. You take your shoes off in the studio and then you go outside to catch some fresh air, and you get a new nickname. Sean just literally went out. He got to the door of the studio and it's like, I got to put my shoes on. I'll just go with Joe Jackson.
Hey, you know what? I only stepped on one hypodermic needle, so my night's going fine.
Yo, no, it's perfect. Good thing you drank that cocktail last year.
So you remember your good friends at Occupy Wall Street?
Oh, yeah. We're so close. They're peaceful.
So, right. And they were a multicultural movement, and this is not what I'm saying.
Right.
We're a multicultural movement against the corruption of Wall Street and, blah, 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 big banks. They're taking all of our money, this, that, and the other thing. We have to do it for the little people. Multicultural, we heard that over and over and over and over again. This is just a mass of people coming together. The poor, the needy, all that stuff. So the National Review Online did and this is by Catherine O'Connell, did a little bit of a study, and they find out they were disproportionately rich and overwhelmingly white, the original Occupy movement. The new study from sociologists in the City University of New York, more than one-third of the activists in Occupy New York had incomes over
$1 a day.
$100,000 a year. They surveyed 729 people who were in a rally last year at the occupation of Zuccotti Park, and this is actually in 2011 rather, and found out that they were more affluent, white, younger, and much more highly educated than the average male in New York.
I don't know if I buy that, because I remember seeing the pictures of just a bunch of knuckleheads camped out sleeping in filth.
Well, yeah, because they were mad at Mommy and Daddy, and they were going to really show them. Isn't that awesome? I mean, seriously.
So was it the kids themselves who were earning that much money?
Yeah.
Or was it
No,
parents?
this was the individuals how much do you make in this survey, how much do you make?
Do you think they were being honest?
Why would you even, if
to screw with the man? What do you mean, why would I lie about it? You know what? We're going to make this seem like we're really grassroots, like we're educated, like we know what we're doing. So I'm going to say I make 6 figures a year and that I'm really highly educated. That's why you do it. How do you prove that?
You're right. How do you prove that? Except you're probably looking for honesty from
a bunch of thugs.
Occupied.
Right, from people,
and anarchists.
And anarchists, yeah. How many anarchists do you know that make $100,000 a year?
It's funny, too, because the anarchists, we're aligning with Occupy Wall Street. They officially aligned at some point, which
right.
I don't understand how you do that. But Occupy Wall Street wants, this just blows my mind, really stringent laws on Wall Street, how people make money, how that money's distributed. They want...
You can say it, communism.
Exactly, communism. Okay. The anarchy is the exact opposite, if you will.
It's lack of government.
Lack of
centralized
completely.
control, yes.
But yet on this one, they can see eye to eye.
Yeah, which is weird because it's almost like it goes full circle and wrapped back around on
now
itself.
It's overlapping?
Yeah, and some weird,
in the circle.
some kind of weird hyperspace link.
In the circle of stupid ways the country should be run.
You know what?
They've actually bit themselves in the ass, and now they're stepping back over.
Now, hang on a second. This is interesting because Michio Kaku, who is professor of theoretical physics in New York, he might actually be able to explain this because this movement did, in fact, start in New York, correct? So he may be part of it to where he was able to morph two opposite ends of the political, ideological spectrum through time and space and wrap it back on so they met and agreed. What do you think?
You know what? Can we get him on the show?
Yeah, because he totally has time for us. That's a good one. Absence of all government and then communism, total government control. You don't get any farther apart than that.
At all. And I know,
By the way, how'd you like the
I know this
Michio
has been
reference?
discussed. Huh?
How'd you like that Michio Kaku
Dude,
reference?
Did you see me almost fall out of my chair?
Yeah.
How you
did.
pull crap like that out
I don't
at
know.
random blows my mind.
I don't know.
And that's one of the reasons I love and hate doing the show with you all at the same time.
Which is weird. He actually wrote a book called Hyperspace where he talks about. Never mind.
I saw that. It was in Spaceballs. What?
Ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed. Go. That's like the show is ludicrous speed. I know they've talked about it before, and somebody in the Mother Goose in the chat room brought up that Occupy Unmasked, they had discussed it. I didn't realize there was an official study done, and to be done by the City University of New York.
I'm sure it's completely unbiased.
Right. But you would think that if the City University of New York was going to do this, it would be completely biased. Like they would just be like, oh, it was 30% white, 40% African American.
No. I would think they'd want it to seem like mainstream white people, rich white people want this movement, and because it's not radical at all, it's mainstream. Look, we're just like you. Matter of fact, we're the educated, well-employed segment of you.
Well,
that's what I would think, and I would trust this study more if it were done by UC Berkeley.
Really?
No.
Okay, good. I was ready to wing my pen right in your face.
Just as much, though.
Anyone who wants to chime in, 347-205-9399. We're talking about the study done by the City University of New York about the occupiers. They said that non-Hispanic whites constituted 62% of all the respondents in the study, though they only make up 33% of New York residents. Yeah. While only about a third of our country holds bachelor's degrees, 76% of the respondents had completed their education at a four-year college. Okay. That's just shocking to me.
And you say you believe it?
Well, they have to have there has to be some sort of baseline. I don't think if you're going to BS a study like this, pardon me, that you can fudge the numbers that much. If they said...
What do you mean you can't fudge the numbers? I take a pen and I write some crap down.
Well, that's true, because in Philadelphia, there wasn't one conservative vote during the general election. Throw it against the wall. It's just mind-boggling to me. That's all I can say, really.
Why? I don't understand how you get...
All right, so let's look at it this way. Say it's a complete BS study.
Okay. Let's say that. I like that. Let's go with that.
All right, so let's go in and audit the study. Have somebody go in and check it. Because I think if you're a city university,
I don't
assuming they
care.
get city money. Oh, I do.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. If this university gets any state or federal funding, then if they're going to do studies like this, shouldn't they, if they're going to pass it off as impartial and it's a city university?
I'll do you one better. Why do we have college and universities with professors that preach the downfall of the United States and socialism and communism when they get tax dollars? That's more concerning to me than an Occupy study.
I love when I set up a segue and you take the bait.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's completely disgusting. And we've had a bunch of people, we've talked about this before, how many liberal professors...
Is that a North Face shirt?
Well, yes, it is.
I like it.
Thank you very much.
Do they make it in men's?
No.
Huh.
No, only women's cuts.
Okay.
That's why it fits me so well.
No, it does. It really shows the curves.
How many of these liberal professors get to go, especially public universities? Listen, if you want to have a private university and you want to have a liberal-leaning private university, as long as there's no federal funding, that's up to you.
Have you heard of Hillsdale College?
I have heard of Hillsdale College.
I love that school. I actually donate to that school. And no, this isn't a commercial. This isn't a plug.
But I've taken their Constitution class.
Yeah, they have free Constitution online, their Constitution 101 class, Constitution 201. They now have a Western history 101 class that's free, and they teach it's a true liberal arts education.
Yeah.
True statesmanship education program, and they take $0 federal dollars.
I know.
So
they're completely private.
They tell the federal government to pound sand on all kinds of things. It's awesome.
Anyone that tells the feds to pound sand on things that's constitutionally none of the feds' business, I'm all for.
Me too. It's great. They actually had a fight, I believe it was in the 70s, with the federal government, where because they were students were using GI Bill money, and so the feds came in and said, well, no, you have to comply with these requirements, and they said, no. And they're saying, well, you're using federal money, GI Bill money, and the college's position was, well, no, you give them money, and it is the student who is spending money. They can spend that money anywhere.
Yeah.
And they end up.
And they earned it.
Yeah. They don't take any federal money. Anyways, I digress.
So I know. Going back to what I was saying.
Yeah.
If you want to have a college take $0 federal money, and if you want to lean your teachings towards liberal teachings, that's your right. As long as, let's face it, in my belief, most college degrees are kind of BS anyhow.
Yeah, because you got bachelors of science,
right?
And some of them are MS, some of them are BA,
AS or
right,
AA,
yeah.
rather. No. I mean, there's so many. You can get a degree in underwater basket weaving now, and all of a sudden you can apply for federal jobs because you have a BA. And how does the person with underwater basket weaving become a better employee than somebody who's been doing the job?
Well, because they're
educated
educated.
For 20 years. So
because they're educated, Sean. That's a ridiculous question.
By the way, if anyone's graduated with an underwater basket weaving degree, can you please email Sean at sackheadsradio.com? I'd like to discuss that with you.
And if you have that degree,
but
you can probably ask somebody to help you figure out how to email.
If you're in a state school or anything that takes federal estate money, you should have to have complete and utter impartial teachings. Agreed?
Well, but then how are you going to change the mind of the student?
That's supposed to be up to the individual to make their decisions.
Look, you're being kind of ridiculous and unreasonable right now. And I don't understand where these extreme views are coming from that you're spouting right now.
Well, and I'll tell you
why are you so hateful?
I talked to a gal on Twitter a couple weeks ago.
You did? Congratulations. That's a
And
first for you.
She is going to school for journalism. She's also conservative, and I believe she's in Indiana.
I don't think she can do that. Does she know that? I'm pretty sure that violates.
4 out of 5 of her professors are outright
communists.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Self-proclaimed liberals, socialists, and I think she said one of them actually said communist. And then the other one,
of course, let's have them teaching.
Just the other one was just a professor, and she said that it's disgusting because every time she brings up a conservative point of view, they're just lambasted. She's not even allowed to really bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
And from the side that's, it's all about opinions and ideas, and they brought up the whole thing with Biden and just after the Sandy Hook shooting of, we're just going to have an idea session. Everyone's just going to throw stuff against the wall and see what'll work and blah, 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 blah. We love ideas. We want everyone's ideas. Well, hey, I'm a conservative, and I have an idea of shut up. Yeah, but I just want to know, shut up, because you're a lunatic. You love guns, and you like seeing kids die. That's their whole approach on how to deal with us. So it's just more hypocrisy.
I don't know where you're getting your information from, because liberals love the First Amendment, and I don't think they would ever tell a conservative that they can't voice their point of view and exercise their freedom of speech.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm being sarcastic right now.
Oh.
Well, look, we had an issue. Sackhead Michaela wrote an article.
Great article, but
if you recall.
I think it was Santa Cruz State University in California.
Yep. About college again with I get so frustrated.
Yeah. No, there was a whole socialist handout that they were doing in the school cafeteria on socialism, and it was allowed and permitted. I believe it was supported by Santa Cruz State University. So how? And I'm sure if I called my assemblyman or senator in the state and said, hey, I want to pull funding, oh, Lord, no. And they're already protesting because their rates went up. So let me get this straight. You can push a socialist agenda at a school that the state pays for and a lot of kids go to on state money anyhow, and that's okay. But if we raise their rates slightly, they protest. And California is one of the cheapest places to go to school in the country if you go to a state school. I don't know of any that are cheaper off the top of my head, but that's how a lot of people end up in the state is come live here for the year, and then they qualify as residents and get a less expensive trip to school.
What if now can criminal aliens go to school in California?
I believe now they can.
Well, that's weird. And
believe me, if they pass this immigration bill, then it doesn't matter, though, because this president already ignores any immigration law that stands anyway, so what difference does that make? Well, California is a sanctuary state now. Essentially, we covered that a bunch of shows ago, where you can pretty much come in and they won't touch you unless you're, a violent felon. Unless you're convicted of a violent felony in California, they ain't touching you.
Law enforcement cannot run immigration status checks anymore. Yeah, unless you are a violent felon. Who decides what that is? So if somebody murders somebody and they say, you know what, yeah, it was murder, but they pled to manslaughter, which is kind of a lesser crime, and it wasn't really violent because there wasn't a lot of blood. He actually kind of killed him nicely. Who makes that determination? So what if there's a rape? I would say rape is violent.
Absolutely.
What is the court going to say? No, rape's not violent. No, it's a sex crime. That's not violent. He didn't kill anybody or cause permanent damage.
Right.
Yeah, you caused permanent psychological damage.
Yeah. Even if it was date rape with drugs and
doesn't matter.
Right. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Or okay, what about a pedophile? What about if somebody who likes 14-year-old hookers would?
Let's say they're a senator out of New Jersey.
Allegedly. No, we're talking hypothetically.
Right. This is just spitballing here, just throwing it out there.
Right.
Let's say.
Would we deport him?
Absolutely not.
That's not violent.
Well, maybe we should change the state name of California to the Socialist Republic of California, officially. Let's just get away from California. There's no reason to even fly the American flag in this state.
So maybe we should just give our star back.
Oh. Just before that happens, I'll need to move.
No, I agree.
Okay.
But, if you think about it, California's flag, it has its own star. What do we need one on the other flag for? Really.
Yeah, no, seriously. All it's doing is oppressing a bunch of people.
Exactly.
Just by its mere presence.
That's all it's ever done.
God, this state just sucks.
Oh, but we have a president that thinks that, too.
Yeah. Well, the Constitution's just a
charter of negative liberties.
Yeah, pretty much. So, God, that just pisses me off.
Don't hold back. Tell me what you really feel here.
Hey, because I know we're going to take up probably the whole last hour on Hagel. Real quick, you sent this to me a couple of weeks ago, and it was on ESPN, and it was Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith discussing head coaches in the NFL.
This was last Sunday.
Was it last Sunday?
Yes.
And so I found a clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's long, but I'm going to play this one clip. And Stephen A. Smith, by the way, has a history of saying
no.
Oh yeah,
no.
I believe he's one of the guys that they were talking about RG3.
Yeah.
And I think they called him like a corn-rolled white boy or something like that, and how he. Yeah, oh yeah, just pretty much how he is, because he's conservative. RG3 is a conservative guy, and they just lambasted him for essentially not being quote unquote black enough.
Well, right, because apparently it's not about a race; it's about an ideology. That's
right.
Interesting. So maybe being black isn't really about race,
but an ideology.
But maybe it's about ideology.
Okay.
Which is why they refer to Clinton as the first black president, right? Am I wrong? You're laughing.
It's hard to argue your point right here.
What about? Yeah, think of any black conservative. Condoleezza Rice.
Yeah.
Right? She's not really black.
Right. No, they say that all the time.
Yeah, no, she's...
Colin Powell, when he was actually a Republican.
Right.
Way back when.
Right. So maybe they'll consider him black now.
Right.
But I don't know.
It's mind-boggling to me. I'm going to play this clip.
Interesting.
I just can't wait to hear your response.
All 8 teams did adhere to the Rooney Rule, which basically states all NFL teams looking for head coaches and GMs have to interview at least one minority candidate. But again, as Schefter just mentioned there, no minority coaches were hired. Stephen A., I'll start with you first. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm appalled. I'm disgusted. Let me preface my comments by saying, Skip Bayless, you know that I was on the record in complete support of the Chicago Bears letting go of Lovie Smith. I think that when you've been in the league for 9 years as a head coach and you go to the playoffs 3 times, you miss the playoffs 6 times, and you walk into this season with them having let go of their general manager, and you have the mandate to make the postseason, even if you do win 10 games. If you miss the playoffs, then Chicago had every right to let go of Lovie Smith. But in my wildest dreams, I never believed, Skip, that would mean that he wouldn't get another job. I just felt it was time for him to leave Chicago. Not time for him not to be a head coach somewhere else.
I hear you.
And that's where this is so incredibly appalling. We're talking about an NFL. We're in the 10th anniversary of the Rooney Rule. For those that don't know what the Rooney Rule is, it's something that obligates teams to interview at least one diverse candidate for each open in a head coaching or general manager's position. That rule was implemented because interviewing minority head coaches is something that simply, or candidates rather, was simply something that was not happening. It's that simple. Here you have 8 openings. 8. Okay? 7 will be first-time head coaches. And Andy Reid, fresh off of a 4-12 season, losing 12 games in 13 weeks, fresh off an 8-8 season preceding that, gets a head coaching job. Now, you know I'm a fan of Andy Reid, Skip.
Yep.
But he got fired on a Monday and had the head coaching job in Kansas City that Friday.
I agree.
4 days. He's not even missing a week's check. A week. Okay? You don't hire one black coach, 1 out of 8 openings? This is disgraceful. Then let's throw out some of the names. Arizona defensive coordinator Ray Horton. Big-time reputation. No head coaching job. Atlanta special teams coordinator Keith Armstrong, he was injured. 49ers, Mike Singletary, you know he had some shaky time. And you know, with that former 49ers coach Mike Singletary. Lovie Smith, of course, and Jacksonville defensive coordinator Mel Tucker. You know, I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm not saying that everybody on that list should have got one. But you know something? Lovie Smith and Ray Horton, you can make legitimate arguments. You could have got them something. We're not even getting into the coordinators. So all I'm saying is this is something that Chris, and I'm not accusing anybody of racism.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
That's exactly what you're
That's
doing.
exactly what you're doing, you jackass. Okay, so first of all, I have a problem with a league rule stating that you have to interview somebody based on race.
Right.
Because that's essentially what they're doing.
And
they're saying, no, you have to
it's
interview
essentially
somebody.
affirmative action that the NFL
You have to
incorporated.
interview somebody based on race.
Right.
And that's the only criteria. So you have – am I wrong?
No, that's
They're not
like,
saying
that's
you
what
have
the
to
rule
interview
is.
somebody based upon these criteria, which are going to help them perform this job. You have to interview somebody based on race. Okay? That's the first problem I have. Second of all, teams decided not to hire a coach for whatever reason. They didn't meet their team's goals. They felt that a coach had better qualifications, whatever the case may be. It's that team's money, because that's what it's about. It's a business. They're trying to make money.
Right.
They're going to hire the best people they have that's going to give them a shot to take them farther so that they can make more money. And if it's a white person or a black person or a purple person or a blue person or whatever it is that gives them that best shot, then I believe that's what the team's going to do. They're not going to lose money based on a race decision. You know, and what you think Lovie Smith, yeah, he should have been fired from Chicago, but somebody else should have picked him up. So somebody else should have picked up Chicago's trash. Chicago was throwing something away. Well, and Chicago was discarding
let's talk about
somebody as a position, and you expect somebody else just to pick him up. Why?
Did Lovie want to coach? Do we know if any of these guys wanted to go to head
Don't
coach?
know. And
Right,
maybe some of them interviewed, but you know what? If Chicago didn't want him, why are you going to expect somebody else to pick him up?
Well, and it's one of those things to me too. When you're hiring a coach, and I'm not going to go too much into the football.
It's got nothing to do with race. That's what pisses me off. It has to do with qualifications. Why are you going to force anybody to? It'd be like somebody telling us we have to interview somebody because they freaking are blue.
Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And when you're building any sports team, you pick your head coach based on how you designed your team. If you're going to be an offensive team, you pick an offensive-minded.
Yeah.
It's just like any other business. You have your business structure, and your CEO
who's going to fit
right.
with your management team, your style,
right.
personalities.
The way you want the team run, right. You have some coaches that are hard asses and really hammer their guys. You have other coaches that are kind of friendlier. It doesn't matter. What matters is as the private business, you have the right to look at resumes and go, I want this guy, I don't want this guy, I want this guy. Really, like anyone cares what race the person is, especially if you're, I say this all the time, if you're in the NFL, and like you said, it's all about winning. And you're going to pick the best qualified person. Nobody's going to put a losing team on the field in the year 2012 on purpose just to spite somebody.
Yeah, just because they don't want to hire somebody of another descent.
Phone number is 347-205-9399.
We're going to attach a picture to the application? Really? Oh, wait, Woodrow Wilson did that with the federal government.
We'll be back in a minute.
He was a Democrat.
This is the Sackheads Radio Show.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PoliticalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PoliticalNetwork.com or Twitter at PoliticalUSA.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women in uniform of the armed forces. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our... God.
You going to mention me this time?
Thank you, Sean. You said mention you, right?
Oh.
You totally need to keep that as an outtake.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
Of course you're calling people a racist. Not call. Who does he think he is? I'm not calling anybody a racist. Yeah, you are. Racist.
Calm down.
What?
Calm down. Oh, go ahead. I like to see him getting angry.
He dressed up best when he's angry.
Let me know when we come back on.
Oh,
that's friggin' ridiculous.
347-205-9399.
Oh, we must be on.
Hey, yeah, we've been back. So.
Okay, thanks. Thanks.
Hey, Mother Goose, who's been a chat superstar for us tonight.
Nice.
They sent us this is from gulagbound.com. It's a list of all the joint exercises between city government, law enforcement, state government, law enforcement, and military. And they also sent...
Whoa. And who?
Military.
I didn't think they were supposed to be taking action on U.S. citizens.
According to what happened, and a lot of this came from Miami last week, where they did a joint operation. Miami and a bunch of local departments down there did operations with the military.
We talked about one of these before.
Yeah, I think it was the Massachusetts one. It was... I forget the name, which city it was in Massachusetts, down by Foxborough somewhere. Either way, it's where the Patriots play. But this just happened in Miami next year. Yeah, they're golfing right now, unfortunately. Really gonna just kill my stream.
I apologize.
But a lot of people didn't know there was a photographer who just flew into town just before it happened that didn't have any idea what was going on. He looked out his window of his hotel, and there was a whole bunch of Blackhawks flying around. They had simulated gunfire, automatic gunfire, all this other stuff. They said they notified people. I'm sure they tried. But I'm just going to run down a list of cities that this type of thing has happened in. And bear with me because I just got this list. We'll start with the most recent and work backwards, I believe. Miami, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, I believe. Minneapolis, Minnesota. St. Paul, Minnesota. Denver. Galveston, Texas. Worcester, I believe, Massachusetts. It's pronounced Worcester, not Worcester. Anyone get it right. Houston, Los Angeles. Laredo, it's Worcestershire. Chicago, Boston, St. Louis. It's also pronounced Boston. Everyone get it straight. New Jersey, Portsmouth, not Portsmouth, so knock it off. Scottsdale, Arizona, and there's another one out there too. But that's just the short list that I got. This has nothing to do with the fact that they've bought all these hardened vehicles, Homeland Security, all these weapons that they bought. They bought a whole bunch of AR-15s recently for Homeland Security to go with the, 1 million rounds of ammunition or something like that they bought 4 or 5 months ago. And now all these hardened APC or armored personnel carrying vehicles are showing up.
By the FEMA vehicles?
Yes. Still not worried, folks?
You know what? I would be worried if I'm not, and here's why. I would be really worried if this president said something like, we need a civilian force just as well trained, just as well funded, and just as well armed as the United States military. I'd be worried if he made any kind of statement or something like that at any time in the past. Yeah. I would be worried, though, if the president had said something like that in the... Oh, wait.
He did.
He did. Okay, yeah, I'm worried.
So, I'm sorry, I was corrected. It was billions of rounds.
Of ammunition?
That Homeland Security, billions of rounds that they bought. So, that's not at all frightening. I don't care. I know I have a couple friends who listen to the show. They're like, wow, you're really starting to get conspiracy theorists.
You don't have any friends.
No, I pay them well.
Okay.
Usually it's a cup of coffee and a donut.
I didn't know you knew any cops. Sorry. Sorry for any law enforcement.
Yeah, any law enforcement that will listen, and I'm really sorry for my partner. But I had a couple friends that say, you're starting to go a little conspiracy theorist on your show. Yeah, and I damn good reason. Look at what's happened in the last.
No, hang on a second. I don't think you're conspiracy theorists because you can point to specific articulable facts to point to your position. I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you don't think I'm losing it?
No. I think you're finally getting your eyes open. I mean, seriously, it's not like you say, hey, listen, I think Obama and George Bush and the Illuminati are meeting in a room and they planned 9/11. And not only that, but they're going to plan the Great Tsunami of 2014. I mean, seriously.
I read a thing.
Did I say read? I mean wrote.
Actually, I think there's New Zealand released a whole bunch of their federal documents, I think from the 60s, where the United States and New Zealand were working on a project to try to create tsunamis, believe it or not.
Oh, no, I believe it.
Isn't that just, I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't until I read it.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I wasn't kidding with that article I just said that you were going to write.
No, you're right. The Illuminati's coming for me. What's the other one? The skulls? I don't even know.
Skull and crossbones?
Oh, but it's...
The Freemasons?
It is frightening to me to think that there aren't people around there that are out there that are just completely okay with what's going on. This has nothing to do, like you said, we talk about, we brought it up probably more times than we should, the communist goals that were in the 60s. That was 63. How many of
into the congressional record.
How many of those have been accomplished?
A lot.
And more recently, it's really starting to be turned up.
If you haven't Googled Communist Goals 1963, they're right into the congressional record, and read through each one of them, and just think to yourself, hey, how many of these have come true?
Yeah. It's a little frightening.
If you haven't, it's kind of interesting, yeah.
So that's me. I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist now.
We just decided that you're not.
No, I am. I think you and soccer are out to get me.
No, we are.
This Gatorade tastes like antifreeze.
Hey, just do me a favor real quick. Does this rag smell like chloroform to you?
Why are there cameras all over the place? What is going on? Why don't I have pants on right now? It's all a conspiracy. You know what's sad is I'm looping myself in with 9/11 truthers. On the lunatic conspiracy theorist ideas. And I'm right there now.
You're doing wonders for our credibility right now, just so you know. So that's awesome.
It's called satire, people. Jeez. I have to make this show kind of funny occasionally.
That would be a good beer.
It's called satire, people?
Just satire.
Satire beer?
Yeah.
I prefer a beer called like Zero Memory. You won't have any memory tomorrow. Something to that effect. Or I like to call it time travel beer. And just have it really strong.
Okay.
So then you black out in time travel, and all of a sudden you wake up the next morning, and you have the fun of trying to figure out what happened the night before. Now, I'm not saying that's ever happened to me.
But if it had, I might have some pictures.
My early 20s were a little bit of a blur.
Now, hang on a second. No, that's not true, because I have been with you on such occasions.
It doesn't even take alcohol. That's the problem. There are some days where I'm just like, what the hell is going on? How do we get to a restaurant?
Right. Is that a roofie?
We on a plane or what? Hey, you remember how Osama bin Laden's dead, so there's no such thing as Al-Qaeda, and
there's no terrorism anymore.
There's no terrorism. It's pretty much done. Dead. So in Turkey, a bomber kills a guard in a terrorist attack on the U.S. Embassy.
That can't happen.
This was published today. I think it happened
long time ago under Bush's administration, right? Why are you laughing?
I don't think anyone's taking credit for it, though, but
George Bush is going to.
Let's face it. It's either Al-Qaeda or an Iranian proxy, because they're pissed about some stuff that happened with Hezbollah. They also think the Israelis bombed their nuclear power plant last week. That's going to come to a head.
Let's talk about that. Hang on a second. Now, nobody knows who bombed or destroyed the nuclear power plant.
Right.
Now, nobody knows. It's a mystery.
Right.
Now, you're saying it was Israel in the library.
I'm not.
With the rope.
No.
That's not what you're saying.
I am not.
You're saying it was Israel in the ballroom with the revolver.
No, I am not blaming Israel.
Okay, you're saying it's Israel in the kitchen. What? And the guy who led it was Colonel Mustard.
I don't believe if it was Israel, the last name would have been Mustard.
Okay.
If it's the colonel that did it. We've been watching for a while now.
So do you think, okay.
Oh, by the way, this is another embassy attack, just in case anyone
forgot that. No, we're going to mainstream media that and just bury it right now.
Right.
We're talking bombing nuclear power plants right
now.
Now.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Just, hey, nothing. Look at this hand, nothing to see here. See, follow the shiny object.
So they think it's retaliation.
Who thinks it's retaliation?
People are speculating that
Who's
Iran.
People? What people?
The people.
Those people?
Have you ever seen the end of the original Indiana Jones? We have top men working on this. What men? Top men. And that's pretty much where this is going, in the giant warehouse all the way down the back.
Right.
So last week, Iran's nuclear power plant, or one of them, was attacked. I believe it was the one that they think is working on the actual weapon. it got hush-hush. Israel didn't deny it, but they didn't confirm it. But Netanyahu made a statement.
Israel, did you do this? Do what? What? Did you bomb our... What power plant?
Actually, I'm shocked because normally Israel goes, "Yep, yeah, we did it."
Okay, they would do that if they had faith in the support of the United States.
That's the problem. They can't have faith in us right now.
Exactly.
And it's only going to get worse with Hagel. We'll get into that in a minute. But Syria also did some bombing inside Syria because they bombed what they thought was a convoy of missiles for Hezbollah. So Syria's a little pissed off at them right now, but I don't think they have enough. I think they have enough on their plate where they're not going to do too much with Israel. Iran.
How far? Because
it doesn't look like I ever ran once in my life, but I did. Iran and Israel. This year, you think it's going to happen?
No.
No? Why not?
Because.
That's a solid answer, and I appreciate your honesty.
Well, I found something that I wanted to share with you.
Okay.
It's from Arutz Shiva 7.
Okay.
Which is IsraelNationalNews.com.
Yeah, I actually know what that was.
And I know, but for some people who
I'm
not,
sorry.
There's an article, and it says explosion cut power to Iran centrifuges. Something happened to that. So I thought it was interesting.
Just a random explosion.
Yeah, just a random explosion. It just happened to cut power to Iran centrifuges, which is what you need to be able to make nuclear grade,
yellow cake and all
weapons
that.
grade nuclear material. Yeah, we don't know who did it, but apparently, and we just happen to know. But that information wasn't released yet. Oh, I was a lucky guess. I don't know how.
I didn't see the exact quote, but somewhere Netanyahu essentially said something to the effect of, I'm not saying confirming, denying that we did it, but I'm also not ruling out further attacks. Something to that effect, which, again, I love Bibi Netanyahu because the guy's got stones, man, and he does whatever is right for his country first, which is what a leader's supposed to do.
Hang on, I have to quote this article again from IsraelNationalNews.com. Assassinations of nuclear scientists, mysterious crashes of airplanes carrying physicists and generals, and cyber attacks have been carried out over the past 3 years, presumably by agents working for Israel, to disturb Iran's nuclear development. Seriously.
Presumably.
Yeah, presumably.
Hey, you know what? Anything's out there.
Yeah, they didn't say, we didn't do this, or Israel's being blamed for these events. It's, presumably, by agents working for Israel. It could be Israel. It could not be Israel. Right. You never know. It could be Colonel Mustard. Major Mustard. I mean, right. It could be Lieutenant Colonel Mustard. Right. We don't know. We don't know exactly. What is this? I don't even know. I don't even know. On this hand, I'd have something. In this hand, I don't know. What you don't even know. This went away. What is that from? Gilbert Godfrey, Beverly Hills Cop 2. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, so like if I had $100, ouch. Yeah. Nice and crisp. It'll be interesting to see, especially with what's going on with Hagel, where it's going to go. Because let's face it, Chuck Hagel has been on record. Hagel is his name? Yeah. Isn't that a female exercise? I think that's Kegel. Oh. I do them often. I confused that. Apologize. What? Yeah. So they're trying to make him defense secretary to replace Panetta. You screwed me up with that. I'm over here, I'm watching you, and I'm watching your facial expressions, and your face twitch as you're trying not to laugh, and you're looking at your paper, and you got your notepad, and you've read that same note like 8 different times while your face is contorting, and you throw Hagel, trying not to laugh. Is that a woman's exercise? Yeah. And then you tried to holding it together afterwards very nicely, but you failed. All right, let's try this again. Here I go. Call him Kegel, I dare you. Chuck Hagel, there you go, has made numerous controversial statements against Israel. I don't think so. I bet you have no proof or direct quotes from him.
Okay.
I bet all those quotes they're just misconstrued.
I believe this is from August 27th, 1998.
Hit me with it. I bet
the
it's
Israeli
nothing.
government essentially continues to play games. Desperate men do desperate things when you take hope away, and that's where they are with, and that's where the Palestinians are today.
Okay, all he was doing was campaigning for Obama because he knew that Obama's slogan would be hope and change. So if you take that hope away, I see that, and all he said is they're playing games. I mean, now who knows? They're talking like Monopoly, Dreidel. I don't know. So I don't see anything there. Next quote.
So Hagel, they made a trip to Syria where they met with the leader, al-Assad. And let's see, they made some. Peace comes through dealing with people. Peace doesn't come with the end of a bayonet or the end of a gun. And they believe that he was alluding to Israel.
Okay, but he wasn't exactly there.
Who was he? Who is he referring to?
He was making a general statement. Wasn't there somebody
was
in
it
the
a major statement?
Well, hang on a second. Now that's kind of weird because that shows that he actually goes against. Oh, because wasn't there somebody in Obama's administration who said we believe peace largely comes through the barrel of a gun? Remember that statement?
That came from not Obama's. You kidding me? It's the Peace Party.
Yeah, good point. All right, next. What else do you got?
Let's see. We can keep going down the line.
Yeah.
Mr. Hagel said, and this was dealing with terrorists in Sudan and Afghanistan recently, anyone that takes the approach doesn't understand, who takes that approach doesn't understand the world. Peace comes through dealing with people. So they're trying to spin it, this was a follow-up to the statement I just read, out of his office, that he was talking about other things, not Israel.
I'm still waiting for these anti-Israel statements you're talking about.
Hagel asked Secretary of State Madeleine Albright if Arab countries believed we have tilted too far toward Israel in the peace process. Some people may think that. I prefer not to make that linkage. Iraq and the peace process are two separate issues.
See, he just wants us to remain impartial. This guy's misunderstood.
And it does go on and on and on.
I don't believe you.
Really? You don't believe me? Why not? Because they're all here on paper in front of me, and I'm not going to dance for you, monkey.
They're all.
No way.
Listen, there's nothing concrete there. Show me where he said, "I hate Israel, and I want to align myself with nations that are against them and want to destroy them." Show me that quote.
You're right. I don't have that.
Thank you.
What we need isn't a ceasefire leading to a sequential peace process, leading to negotiations on a Palestinian state, leading to negotiation on refugees, Jerusalem, etc. This time has passed. An endgame must be brought front now.
That's a pro-Israel statement. He wants Israel to go ahead and use military force to end this crap. I know what he's saying.
So here we are. Flash forward a few years, and Obama, and I know what Obama thought in this. Hey, I'll get a guy with an R next to his name to try to make friends and show that I will work across the aisle. I'm that type of guy. I reach right across that aisle, and I work with both sides because it's for the good of the country. That's what's important, that's what I'm going to do.
Even though Hagel is more liberal than...
That's not what's important.
But the R is.
Right. The R is important.
The R is important.
That way when they turn around, he can say, look at me, reaching across party lines,
absolutely,
shaking some hands, high-fiving some people.
Hey, Obama, I'll tell you what, Mr. President, I would appreciate it, Mr. President, if as the president for all Americans, you do not simply reach across party lines. I would, sir, appreciate it if you would reach across ideological lines.
Whoa.
Those are the lines I would like you to reach across, because parties don't mean a whole lot anymore. They don't mean a whole lot right now. I don't think there is a huge difference between moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats. The letter doesn't mean much. Sir, I would appreciate it, and I think a lot of Americans would like it very much if you would reach across those ideological lines so that we could come together, not simply on a party basis, because the two-party system is flawed, in my humble opinion, and George Washington's, but who's he? He's just some dead rich white guy. But I think if you reached across and we were able to have a true, intelligent, ideological debate and dialogue on the issues in this country, maybe we would find some friends and stop pointing fingers at parties only. That's my 2 cents worth.
Well, I wonder what he would say if he were here right now. Oh, wait a minute.
Hang on, is he...
Is he coming to the podium?
Mr. President, are you... Who is that? That's
Mr. President, can you please respond to Sackhead's request?
If you got a business, that you didn't build that.
That's not, no, sir.
No, sir, that's not the question.
You apparently aren't listening. That was not the question. Do you want to ask it again?
Yeah. Mr. President, will you reach across not party lines, but ideological lines to really work and have a meaningful dialogue about the issues facing this country so that we can solve them?
Hello?
Mr.
Sir,
Mr.
anytime you want to respond. He left. All his limos left at once, apparently.
Wow, Secret Service was really driving fast. I wonder if there's some hookers to get to.
There's a meeting somewhere, apparently.
Yeah, they had to go right now. You know what? Maybe he'll get back to us.
Maybe he will. He knows the phone number. It's 347-205-9399. He can also email us, fan mail, at sackheadsradio.com. Let's face it, our house is a bugged anyhow. So he could just... So all of that about Hagel and his anti-Israel, and as some people say, you proved that he's not anti-Israel, that everything gets taken out of context. I appreciate that, but now we're up to the confirmation hearings for what's he? Secretary of I forget. The Gulag. I don't even remember.
Is he going to have to wear like a skirt and high heels?
No,
because I do not want to see that.
No, because you're not allowed to do that in the workplace anymore.
Look at skirts?
Yeah, you can't even look at them.
Or wear high heels.
You can wear high heels.
I'm saying that I am wearing high heels right now.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
If I was wearing high heels right now?
Or, no, you know what? I'll get in trouble for that statement. I won't even make it.
Make the statement. This is our show. Don't be.
Or no matter if it's a male or a female, if it's a secretary, you still have to call them Madam Secretary, just because it seems like it fits better.
Yeah.
Madam Secretary Hagel, I'd like to ask you a question, sir. Just think about how great that would be.
Secretary Hagel, any messages for me while I was out?
I'm here to respond to the attacks of... Oh, so there were no messages? Great. Coffee. Anyone else? Anyone else have coffee?
Okay. John McCain, you want 2 lumps. And Lindsay, what do you want? A little bit of cream.
I don't know, 3 or 4. Pete Puma. Shouldn't it be administrative assistant Hagel now? Because isn't secretary no longer like...
Yeah, I don't think that's
politically correct.
That's a politically correct term. Administrative assistant Hagel. I like that.
So
executive assistant.
Executive assistant
Hagel.
How about that?
But assistant is kind of demeaning also, because it's almost like somebody is beneath somebody else.
How about administrative equal who does things that the administrator does not?
How about a citizen?
Person.
Citizen Hagel.
No.
Why not?
I just don't like the way that rings.
Okay.
How about, I like this one.
Go.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
Or a puppet in general. Any puppet will do. Marionette. The marionette of defense. Can I have the marionette of defense out here, please? And he just comes out, just arms are flailing, just, as the president, I want you to dance to this monkey that's twisting the music box. And you just see the arms and legs going. Where the hell did we go with this show?
I don't know.
How are we against our last break and we haven't even got into the confirmation of Hagel yet? This is awful. I'm just kidding. The show rocks.
No, yeah, it does.
We come back. We'll go through the confirmation of Hagel and wrap up the show. The phone number is 347-205.
Hang on a second. Don't call because it's too late now. We actually have some material to get to.
Yeah, well, no, we don't. Sackheads Radio.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the wingnut leaders throughout the world to give our men and women of the armed forces a job, as well as all the anarchists, terrorists, and Occupy folks that give our men and women in uniform on the home front, firefighters, law enforcement personnel, and first responders, job security here in the States as well. So thank all you wingnuts out there. This is Sackhead Clint saying have a good day.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, POLITIGAL Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PoliticalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PoliticalNetwork.com or Twitter at PoliticalUSA.
Hey guys, do you like our news briefs? Better yet, do you like the amazing voice that does our news briefs? Do you need some audio work done? Check out PlatinumVocalCords.com. Our friend Vanessa has years of broadcast experience. She's an absolute professional. She'll work with you, get the sound exactly how you'd want it. So go to PlatinumVocalCords.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you. Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
This is Sal from New York. Please listen to Sackheads Radio.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
I love Sal from New York.
I love Sal from New York, one of our listeners. Thank you, Sal, for that clip. So this week we had confirmation hearings about Chuck Hagel, a giant rhino that goes out with a name Republican but doesn't act like a conservative all that often.
Ever.
And there was two good back and forths. One of them was with
McCain.
Senator McCain, who's just, it's really time for you to go, Senator McCain. Just retire. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, he was the kind of the diet Republican that ran last time, before the diet Republican.
Diet? I wouldn't even call him a diet.
Romney.
I'd call him like a water Republican.
Water Republican?
Diet at least kind of tastes like the original sometimes.
Not really.
You know who he looks like? Do you ever see the last Indiana Jones? The Last Crusade, when they're at the well of the Fountain of Youth there, and the guy that tricked Indiana Jones is drinking from it, and he ages ridiculously?
Right.
The last second before he turned to ash, that's what McCain reminds me of now. I'm just saying. It's time for him to go. What? He just bothers me more and more at this point.
Play the clip.
All right, let's start off with that clip and go from there.
In an interview, 2011, in an interview with the Financial Times, you said, I disagreed with the President Obama his decision to surge in Iraq as I did with President Bush on the surge in Iraq. Do you stand by those comments, Senator Hagel?
Well, Senator, I stand by them because I made them. And
were you right? Were you correct in your assessment?
Well, I would defer to the judgment of history to sort that out. But the
committee deserves your judgment as to whether you were right or wrong about the surge.
I'll explain why I made those comments. And
I want to know if you were right or wrong. That's a direct question. I expect a direct answer.
The surge assisted in the objective, but if we review the record a little bit,
will you please answer the question? Were you correct or incorrect when you said that the surge would be the most dangerous foreign policy blunder in this country since Vietnam? Were you correct or incorrect? Yes or no?
My reference to the surge being the most dangerous.
Senator Hagel? The question is, were you right or wrong? That's a pretty straightforward question.
Well,
I would like to answer whether you were right or wrong, and then you are free to elaborate.
Well, I'm not going to give you a yes or no answer on a lot of things.
Well, let the record show that
today.
You refuse to answer that question. Now, please go ahead.
Well, if you would like me to explain why...
Oh, I actually would like an answer. Yes or no?
Well, I'm not going to give you a yes or no. I think it's far more complicated than that. As I've already said, my answer is I'll defer that judgment to history. As to the comment I made about the most dangerous foreign policy decision since Vietnam was about not just the surge, but the overall war of choice going into Iraq.
I don't have a really issue with McCain there. What's your problem with McCain there?
My problem?
Why do you discriminate against aged people now?
Well, first of all, it sounded like two old men in like an old age home.
It is
fighting on what channel to watch.
It is. I want to watch. I'm not watching Leave It to Beaver. I want to watch golf. Not watching golf.
Senator,
I'm watching jazzercise.
Say yes or no. Would you rather watch golf or the infomercial? Well, I don't even know. I want a yes or no, Senator. No, I don't have a problem with his question in this particular statement. I have a problem with McCain overall. I did think that he should have just cut to the chase a lot sooner and say, if you're not going to say yes or no, we'll enter as a non-answer. You can elaborate if you want, but it doesn't matter. I understand what he's getting at.
Or how about you don't elaborate? It's just a non-answer,
right?
And we'll go to the next one.
I understand what he's getting at there. I think it's funny that, and this happens all the time, every time we confirm somebody. Back in 2008, they were like buddy-buddy. And at one point, I think McCain mentioned that he would consider him for Secretary of Defense.
Was that 2008? That was when he was running, right?
He was running against Obama.
Yeah.
Saying that he would consider him for Secretary of Defense if McCain was elected, and now rid of this. And I get it. They call it vetting, but it's just you have a president that the Republicans don't like, so they're going to slam him. If it was the other way around, it would be the same type of situation. And this particular statement, though, whoever wrote that for McCain, that question, I think was brilliant. I don't know if McCain wrote that himself.
I don't know.
But I think that is a great question because as Secretary of Defense, what would you do in that situation? Because you said you didn't support the troop surge in Iraq under both presidents, Bush and Obama, but it apparently worked, and he even said it had assistance in meeting its objective. That means it worked, whether you want to say it or not. So he did kind of answer it at some point.
Which means he's wrong.
He was wrong.
But all he had to say is, hey, I was wrong, in retrospect, blah, 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 explain it, whatever. Stand by your position.
2020.
Yeah.
But he went on and he made up some BS and just tried to twist it. No, he did the whole typical politician thing, which drives me insane. I would have had respect for him if he goes, hey, you know what, I was wrong.
I wouldn't have respect for him. But
well, I would have had respect for the answer.
I would have appreciated his honesty and said, hey, you know what, I disagree with him, but at least he's a stand-up guy and you know, stood up and defended his position. He's defended his beliefs instead of trying to wiggle your way around it. You got the exchange with Lindsey Graham?
So, yeah, this is the best one. I'll play part one first. This is the Lindsey Graham and Hagel exchange. This is part one.
Let's talk a little bit about statements you made. You've explained this a bit. You said the Jewish lobby intimidates a lot of people up here. I'm not an Israeli senator. I'm a United States senator. This pressure makes us do dumb things at times. You said the Jewish lobby should not have been, that term shouldn't have been used. It should have been some other term. Name one person, in your opinion, who's intimidated by the Israeli lobby in the United States Senate.
Well, first...
Name one.
I don't know.
Well, why would you say it?
I didn't have in mind a specific person.
Do you agree it's a provocative statement? That I can't think of a more provocative thing to say about the relationship between the United States and Israel and the Senate or the Congress than what you said. Name one dumb thing we've been goaded into doing because of the pressure from the Israeli or Jewish lobby.
I have already stated that I regret the terminology.
But you said back then it makes us do dumb things. You can't name one senator intimidated. Now give me one example of the dumb things that we're pressured to do up here.
We were talking in that interview about the Middle East, about positions, about Israel.
So give me an example of where we've been intimidated by the Israeli Jewish lobby to do something dumb regarding the Mideast, Israel, or anywhere else.
Well, I can't give you an example.
Thank you. Do you agree with me? You shouldn't have said something like that?
Yes, I do. I've already said that.
Now, do you agree with me that Hezbollah is a terrorist organization?
Yes.
Now, in 2006, you were one of 12 senators who refused to sign the letter to the European Union asking them to designate Hezbollah as a terrorist organization for the purposes of the EU sanctioning Hezbollah. Why were you one of 12 who refused to sign that letter?
Because I have generally had a policy during my time in the Senate that I didn't think it was the right approach for the Congress of the United States to be sending leaders any instructions or any documents versus letting our president do that. And as I've already
why
stated,
did you sign a letter to Bill Clinton urging him to deal with the Russians when it comes to their policy against Jewish people?
Because I think that's the appropriate approach, because I think it's our president who conducts foreign policy.
Well, all I could suggest to you is that when a letter is presented to the United States Senator about the times in which we live in, you can't write one letter and not write the other, in my view, be consistent. And the letter was urging the EU to impose sanctions on Hezbollah, and you've been a big believer that we shouldn't go it alone. We shouldn't do it unilaterally. Why in the world wouldn't you take this chance to urge the European Union to go ahead and sanction Hezbollah, because that may help the world at large deal with this terrorist organization? And your answer is you just don't think we should be writing letters.
That wasn't my answer. My answer was I think the President of the United States is the appropriate official.
So Congress has no interest at all in whether or not the EU would designate Hezbollah as a terrorist organization? Do you think that's our role up here? That we should just stay out of those things?
The Congress has an interest responsibility in all things.
Okay, I got you. Now, let me, apparently not there. Now, let me ask you this about the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. You said just a minute ago you think they're a terrorist organization. You agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And you voted against the amendment designating them a terrorist organization because you thought we'd be going down the wrong road by doing that, because they're a recognized state, Iran. You wouldn't want to designate the army of a recognized state as a terrorist organization.
I said that Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. I also just clarified a statement on Iran being a recognized nation by the United Nations, by most world bodies. The reason, again, I'll explain it again, why I did not vote, as 22 other members did,
right.
Because I think Jim Webb's argument was a strong argument, and that was we have never, and this is what he said on the floor, designated part of a government as a terrorist organization, thereby what his concern was, as was mine, and other senators voted against it, would this be then tantamount to giving the President of the United States authority from the Congress to take military action against
Iran? I got
you. Wow, Graham just really beat him on this one.
I like him.
I do at times. There are
at times.
Yeah.
I like him at this time.
I like him at this time, too. I think he's going after all the right things. I want to go talk a little bit about just what was said there. First of all, when you get into the Jewish lobby thing, just the simple fact that he's like, anyone here that you know of that you feel is intimidated by the Jewish lobby, go ahead, throw it out there. Tell me who's intimidated. We'll take care of it. Let me know. Who?
What did we do? What did they bully us into doing?
Well, you made the comment, so there's nothing. Okay, done. Moving on. And then he gets, the president conducts foreign policy. president directs foreign policy. The last time I checked, all of our Secretary of State Clinton, she's all over the world doing foreign policy. Am I right?
Yeah, she's part of the executive.
It's part of his direction, yes. But the whole argument with the Congress sending a letter to the EU asking them to call Hezbollah terrorists, the president can decide that if he wants to and say, hey, yeah, you know what, I want my secretaries to go over there. But he just makes the foreign policy from his office, not necessarily for the country.
Well, I have an interesting point.
Okay.
And because his thing is, he says that the president is the one that directs foreign policy. It's not the place of Congress, right? Well, then if that's true, then why does the power to declare war
come from Congress?
Rest with Congress?
Weird, right?
Huh, so maybe Congress does have something to do with foreign policy. Never mind.
Well, and that's a great argument because you move into his last statement there and says Congress has no role or interest in that.
Well, they would if they had the authority to declare. Oh,
right.
Huh. Or you know what? No. Congress. Okay, let's take declaring war out of it.
Okay.
Maybe if Congress were allowed to send financial aid to.
Still there.
You're
still there too.
Yeah, I guess maybe Congress does have.
So Congress is kind of involved.
They're kind of important
in the foreign policy. Don't our senators and congressmen go overseas all the time and meet with other world leaders?
No, because they're not part.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
they do.
Wasn't Hagel at one point, from one of the things I read earlier, wasn't he overseas at one point meeting with, I think, the Syria and
Why
Afghan?
didn't he stay?
And he was talking about the region and what. So he himself was there.
I don't.
So that statement's BS.
No, maybe he was thinking about running for president at the time.
But it's funny because Congress doesn't have the power to do that in his opinion. But then he voted against to designate the Iranian, not the army there, the super
Guard.
the Iranian Guard there, as a terrorist organization because he was afraid the president would then use that power to launch an attack. I wonder who was president when he said that. Interesting. To launch an attack without the war declaration by Congress. So then he's worried about the president then doing something without Congress, but prior when Congress was supposed to be asked to go on foreign policy, he wasn't worried about the president.
Why are you making sense? Listen, why are you trying to discredit a respectable United States senator who is up for Secretary of Defense or Administrative Assistant of Defense, Presidential Assistant of Defense?
Ooh, I like that.
Okay. I don't understand why you're... Look, do you think he's going to be confirmed? Look, the committee is 14 to 12 Democratic.
Right.
Okay? I don't think any of the 12 Republicans
they'll all vote
are going
I
to
hope
support.
they would vote no.
But after this exchange today, because it was pretty ugly,
yeah,
I wonder if there is enough there to pull one or maybe even two of the Democrats, because this guy is kind of he has some issues.
Yeah.
He referred to Mike Lee, a Republican out of Utah, asked Hagel about
Hagel.
Asked Hagel about a statement where he said Israel was keeping Palestinians caged up like animals. Caged up like animals is the direct quote. And Hagel, he used that same argument that he used there with, hey, I don't really remember the context of when I said that. That's not something you
just say lightly.
Yeah.
Especially, listen, if you're sitting having coffee with your friend or whatever and there's nobody else around, you're like, hey, you know what, I heard the Israelis are really, the Palestinian prisoners, they're not treating them right. I heard they might be keeping them caged like animals. Okay, that could be a private conversation if that's what you heard or whatever. But to go as a senator and to say that outright, that's a dangerous statement.
Even saying that, I don't know. I thought it was interesting, and that, taken together with his other statements and his record and so forth. He's obviously very liberal, and I don't think he's very friendly to Israel.
No, and that's the problem.
And did you know he appeared on Al Jazeera TV?
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Senator Ted Cruz from Texas brought this up and actually hit him with a couple of his interviews on Al Jazeera. One of which he didn't. Somebody was basically talking about America being the world's bully, and he didn't disagree with them.
Right.
So
you can't even defend us when you're a senator on Al Jazeera.
On Al Jazeera, why were you going on Al Jazeera anyways?
Hey, listen, if he was going to go on Al Jazeera and kick him in the face and be like, hey, you know what? We're not the bullies. When people need help, they ask for our help, and we go and help.
I thought you go on Al Jazeera and say, hey, you know what? If we get attacked anymore, we're going to come kick your ass too.
Well, no, because they now own Al Gore's business. So it'd be like kicking Al Gore's ass. Oh, you know what?
Oh,
maybe that.
Are you on to something?
It's a huge ass to kick.
That is huge.
Things getting bigger by the day. He makes me look thin, and I am glad for that. We only have 10 minutes left. I'm going to play some of the second clip here. This is the rest of the argument between Hagel and Graham. Huge
Let's
ass.
talk a little bit about the statement she made. You've explained this a bit. You said the Jewish lobby intimidates a lot of people up here. I'm not an Israeli senator. I'm a United States senator. This pressure makes us...
Hey, that sounded familiar, didn't it?
Socko, get the right clip, please.
No. Yeah, so that was fun. Let me try the other one.
Let's talk a little bit about...
Really? Socko?
I put it in there, I promise.
I might be fired then. I can't find it on the board. See if you can find it. We'll keep going. This could be my fault completely. Either way, the rest of the exchange...
Either way, the sound guy's getting fired.
No, it's probably the co-host because I can't seem to pull it up on the board, or I may have moved it because I shouldn't be allowed to touch things. So that's my bad.
Your mom spoke that when you were like 12.
Uh-huh.
You replaced it with porn, didn't you?
Never. Nope. I just had stupid fingers, and my apologies. Either way, it went on for a while, and Graham hit Hagel on just everything. My friend said this to me the other day. He goes, when are these politicians going to realize that this isn't like the 1920s where you could say something and there's not all this recording equipment and the ability to Google it and go, hey, no, wait, right here in the official congressional record you said X, Y, and Z on this date at this time, and what did you mean by that? Well, what I said, and I didn't mean to say, and then I said because I didn't. Listen, this isn't years ago when you could get away with that and be like, oh, no, they missed half of it, or the stenographer had a stroke halfway through, or something like that. It's all right there. It's all recorded. When are these politicians going to realize you can't backpedal on that crap anymore? And you're better off just owning it.
But here's the thing. I mean, honestly, it matters. But
sure matters.
Rhetorically speaking, does it matter to most of the people in this country? How many people watch or pay attention to these confirmation hearings?
That's the problem.
Nobody.
The problem.
So, I mean, and they know it. They know they have their statements recorded back to. They know that, but they also know that people don't pay attention. Nobody's going to listen to their confirmation hearings.
And then what happens is they turn on mainstream media, who gives you the slant that the government enjoys, if you will.
Government.
Wasn't it you earlier that was reading the about the interview with the president? I think it was ABC.
Yeah.
And just all the quotes going out, slamming him, essentially saying, yeah, it's a safe place. That's why he keeps doing that interview, because he knows he's not going to get any hard questions. He knows he's not going to get hit. A lot of politicians love to go on ABC on the Sunday morning show. Same thing with NBC, MSNBC, CNN. It's all the same thing. And even sometimes, and even Fox News, I think, goes easy on some people. They wouldn't with the president, and I think O'Reilly was the last Fox News representative to sit with the president, and I thought he did a decent job.
O'Reilly does a decent job.
Yeah.
With O'Reilly's pretty fair.
I thought so.
I think he does a fair job. I think a lot of the Fox News people are pretty fair. I mean, some of them are definitely
over the top.
Some of them are definitely conservative,
right?
And they may go easier on a conservative, which, you know what, they shouldn't do that either.
Right, I agree. They should hit everyone equal.
I think when you compare the networks, I believe Fox to be the most balanced.
Absolutely. And if they lean a little bit conservative, well, they have to offset, 8 other networks that are completely left liberal falling?
Yeah.
And if you watch some of the clips on some of these mainstream media sites, the way they've adjusted or timed it, you would think that Hagel was kicking Graham's ass and kicking McCain's ass. Now, granted, this was a hard one for them to spin because I think everyone who was asking him questions, Senator Cruz, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, all did a pretty good job of laying it out so you can't really clip or adjust, and do the whole gotcha editing like they like to do sometimes, which didn't NBC just get in trouble for that recently?
Was it NBC or was it ABC?
It doesn't matter. It's all the ones that end with the C. They're all the same now.
People.
You know what? I'm going to start editing clips, but I'm going to edit clips and just do every other word no matter what.
I'm going to start editing clips, too. I'm going to start adding rounds in them. What?
I believe you mean magazines.
Oh, yeah, and I didn't mean edit. I meant load.
Right. Same difference.
And before anybody thinks I'm a warmonger out to get it's for personal defense.
And satire.
It's satire. Because I like
do you
to go
think
to the
he's going to get confirmed?
What's that?
Do you think he's going to get confirmed?
Yeah, Democrats control the Senate. I think he's going to get confirmed.
I don't know. It could go 13-13.
Okay, to get past committee, but what about for the vote?
Oh, overall, yeah.
What about Republicans may be able to block the vote. I don't know, but
it'll be tough. They have to do a lot in committee right now and really pull a lot out, which it looks like they did a pretty decent job this time. Unlike Kerry, Kerry that just got floated through last time.
You know what kills me is
hypertension.
That could.
Yeah.
Heart disease.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. What kills me is, even
after
waited
4 more minutes to sneeze.
There were still Democrats coming out saying, "Oh yeah, I think he advanced his cause. I think he did. Oh yeah, awesome." Why can't they be honest and look, just come out and be like, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, he had a rough day. He hurt his cause. You know what? Yeah, I have questions about him. This is for
you know what? He stepped on his dick a little bit.
Yeah. This is for the good of the country.
Yeah, I agree. This is supposed to be for the country. I saw great quote the other day. It says, it shouldn't be about Democrat or Republican. It should just be about the country.
It should.
And you can have your beliefs on a personal scale, but at the end it has to be what's best for the country. You can't tell me that all those Democrats sitting up there think this is what's best for the country, because I don't think it is. I really don't think he is. I think he is the absolute wrong person for this job.
I agree with you. What would you say if there was a law passed that required what?
LAW, folks. LAW.
That required every senator and every representative in the House of Representatives every single one of them, to be out of office and entire new elections held every, 10, 15 years.
I think that'd be fun.
Just completely reset the entire system. You cannot serve more than 15 years. 10 years.
I think we should do it like musical chairs. Every year, you pull out like 3 chairs and they have to do the walk, and whatever 3 are left standing, even if it's not their election year, you're out.
You're out.
Or you put in other people. And you do it every single year. And you just keep rotating it through. I'm sure, you know what, though? We can't play musical chairs because it sits people out, and now we're hurting their feelings. So that's out.
Yeah, that's out.
How about dodgeball?
They all get a trophy.
They all do get
a trophy.
It's called their ridiculous paycheck.
All the Democrats get a trophy.
All the Democrats get it. What if we did House Extreme Dodgeball, and that's how we got people out?
I would want to play.
I would too, but I'd want to use an air cannon. Remember on American Gladiator? They had
pistol grip. You're up.
Pistol grip close. Let's see. You and Feinstein. Let's see who can make it first. Ooh, got them both with one. Look like a hip, folks.
Ready?
Look like a hip.
Dodgeball.
Hey, remember like American Gladiators? We could have them do that. Where they stood up there like the tennis balls that went 300 miles an hour.
American Gladiator, called American Legislator. Have them in the little tight outfits and stuff running around.
I feel bad for the guy that's up against Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan and Harry Reid step up. going to be a race to the top of the tower the whole time. They're throwing live cobras at you, as well as shooting you with tennis balls, and we may pull the floor up from under you, and you have to do a 30-foot jump. Go! Did we end this on the most possible ridiculous note that we could?
I love it. Hey, it's been fun, sir.
It's been fun. We'll see you next week.
Maybe. I hope so.
How are we going to close the show this week? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I hope to be here next week. I have surgery this week coming up. I hope I'm going to be okay to come in on Friday.
If not,
I may be a little loopy.
If not, I'm coming to the hospital. We're doing it bedside.
Ooh, interesting.
We might pull that off.
We might be able to pull that off.
So either way, one of us will be here. One of us may be here physically.
I might be on the show. Just saying.
Yes,
no, he's not going to be on the show.
I'll be quitting for a day.
Sacco might have to step in and translate. Something about razzmatazz. I don't even know. We'll see you next week, folks. Perhaps.
Poopy.
For Clint, Sean, and always is our good friend Sackhead Sacco on the soundboard. Check us out, sackheadsradio.com, Twitter @Sackheads, Facebook.com/SackheadsRadio. We'll see you next week.